Yeah, and looks like the stream has caught up. So we're starting, as with every normal Super Metroid full category in series. So nothing hugely exciting here, just the runners arm pumping their way through these rooms to get to series red. Yep, and none of the runners bonking the first door out of Series Ridley on the escape. See how they do on Tile Room. Zenny getting trolled a bit by the one tile. And so we have a 44-36 on Zenya's side, 42-43 on Toasty, and I didn't catch the escape time for Ninto. And this is a vanilla any percent. So all of our runners are now out of series, so we'll still be seeing basically everything, all the runners doing the same thing pretty much up until post Bomb Chorizo, and then we will potentially start to see a little bit of divergence in the strats that they're using. So Parlor is the first room that has a little bit of tricky movement in it. We see a lot of these runners are using Moonfall. See the nice Moonfall from Zenny. Nintoaster falls in one of the pits, as does Toasty. I think Tipwo actually made it through just fine. So Nintoaster and Shiny Zenny pretty much synchronized, picking up their Morph Ball at the same time. And then same with Tipwo and Toasty. And again, Zenny and Nintoaster synchronized, picking up their Alpha Missiles, and then doing the first Mock Ball of the game, which Zenny gets, and Nintoaster I think might have just missed the Mock Ball. Zenny is first back to the elevator, and the planet is now alive for all four of our runners as soon as they get up the elevator. And no, in fact, this is not even randomized. So Zenny doing a wall jump climb. Nintoaster is doing the behemoth climb, doing ledge grabs up the platforms on the right side. And Zenny up to Parlor. And yeah, all of our other runners also doing behemoth climb. And Zenny will be the first of our runners to make it to Bomb Chorizo. Zenny's setting up for that fight. There are a couple different setups that runners use to set up to hit him. Zenny getting the really nice missile setup where he can pick up 3 of the 5 missile packs that BT drops, and then pick up the other 2 after he shoots the first 4 missiles. Zenny going for the right side Alcatraz, which is faster by a few frames. Nintosa going for the typical left side Alcatraz wall jumps. And and now as soon as Shiny Zenny goes to the next room, we're going to see the first divergence. Zenny is going to be shooting all of these green pirates because he is going to be doing New Route, and he wants to conserve his health because he is going to Fantoon first. Nintoaster is, on the other hand, is just running through the pirates and taking damage through them because it's slightly faster, and because he's doing Old Route, he doesn't care as much about conserving his health. And we see the same for the 3 other runners. So it looks like Zenny is the only one of our runners who is going to be doing New Route. Zenny getting the Mach Ball up to the early supers, which is a hugely important skip in any percent because nobody wants to see Spore spawn. And all of our runners getting the successful Mach Ball there. Then Zenny picking up his charge missiles, and soon after to pick up the charge beam, which is very important in any percent. Allows the runners to not have to pick up very much ammo. So Zenny is onto the Green Hill Zone. He does a Mach Ball and is going to shoot a couple of these enemies here. Is going to set up a charge shot on the first CAC attack at New Bridge, and then do a shot from the bridge onto the second CAC attack so that he can farm the super missiles off of them. And now we see Zenny going up Red Tower. He's going to do a hero shot to shoot the block at the top and get through. And meanwhile, we see Nintoaster going down Red Tower. As he is doing Old Route, he's going to be heading towards Kraid first. He was attempting a deboost off of the enemies in that room, but did not get it. Shiny Zenny picking up the Alpha Power Bombs, which he will need to get into wrecked ship, and is going to lay a power bomb to unlock that door so that he can return there later. Toaster getting a successful Kraid entry. And Zenny laying another power bomb to unlock the other orange door, and is going to be setting up for his CWJ. It looks like he is in position for it, so as soon as this item fanfare ends, he's going to be attempting and unfortunately failing the continuous wall jump, where he can just wall jump completely horizontally. So he's going to be retrying this as Nintoaster is setting up for his Kraid quick kill. We're hoping to see 0 Kraid DLC on this, and Nintoaster gets the Kraid quick kill. and will be picking up his Varia suit. Meanwhile, Shizeni successfully crosses the Mo, which is the first really big choke point of a new route run, and is headed into wrecked ship to the second biggest choke point of a new route run, which is Fantoon. Nintoaster getting the D-boost out of Kraid's lair off the spikes. And as he's running here, he's going to be trying to jump through the top of this door to manipulate the position of the key hunters in the next room so that they do not stop him from getting out of that morph tunnel there. Nintoaster's going to be picking up the Kraid E-Tank here. He was a little bit low on energy, it looks like, so I'm not sure if this is something that he normally picks up. It might also be a race safety. A lot of top runners will avoid picking that up. Toasty getting the great quick kill. Zenny in his Fantoon fight, not getting a huge number of missiles in on the first cycle, but yeah, gets a pretty good Doppler in on the second cycle. So it should be only one more cycle for Fantoon here. Gets a lot of missile drops there, and this should be the end of the fight. Yeah, so Zenny is done with Fantoon as Nintoaster picks up his high jump boots, which is a very nice mobility item that so Nintoaster passed up the E-Tank here on his way in. We'll see if he picks it up on his way out or if he decides to skip it because he took the Kraid E-Tank, but he does indeed pick up this E-Tank. And yeah, Canadian Owl pointing out that Shiny Zenny's power bombs and supers are not looking super counts are not looking the greatest. He picks up the left side supers in the wrecked ship, which gives him 5 super missiles, but I'm sure he would much rather have a lot more resources than that for Attic coming up. Toe's having a little bit of trouble with these jumps in Rising Tide. He makes it through, but does lose a little bit of time there. Toasty picks up his high jump boots. So Zenny is through Attic. Will be heading next into bowling. Wants to make sure that he has enough health to survive 3 spike hits. Or actually, I think for new route they ideally only take 2 spike hits because they don't have high jump boots yet and don't have to worry about bonking the ceiling. So yeah, he gets through with taking only 2 spike hits there. And Toaster picks up his speed booster as Toasty is going to first go and pick up his ice beam. So it'll be interesting to see if Toasty goes the normal old route or if he decides to go for something a little bit different, as he has been known to do in some of these races. So Zenny is about to pick up his gravity suit. Want to leave us in suspense for a couple of frames there. Toasty getting the Ice Escape Mock Ball out of Ice Beam, which is a fairly tight short hop Mock Ball, and he is now going to make his run through Cathedral. As Tippo is heading to get his wave beam. Nintoaster is heading out of double chamber from getting his wave beam. And Zenny is heading back down red tower. So now Toasty's heading to get his speed booster. He looks to be a little bit behind, but he also picked up ice very early, so it is a little bit misleading there. Nintoaster is heading out of Norfair. He's going to be heading up to Wrecked Ship via Red Tower. And Toasty is picking up the speed missiles, and this is a strong suggestion that he is going for a bit of an atypical route. So I suspect that he is going to be going to Lower Norfair pretty immediately, and that he wants the extra missiles there, either as a backup or just to make sure that he can Crystal Flash in the... Although, yeah, I don't think he would be picking up Crystal Flash Power Bomb, so forget that I even said that. Zenny is closing in on Norfair. He's going to be laying a Power Bomb in the Meridia Tube to break the Meridia Tube because he's going to be going into Meridia on the way back. And that will save him some time on the way back, as he had a high five with Tipwo, who is heading out. Toasty's going to be picking up his wave beam. And then Toaster's going to be picking up his alpha power bombs. So Zenny is now going to be picking up his high jump boots and cleaning up the same Norfair checks that the old route runners did earlier. And we're going to be basically looking for about the time where Zenny heads down into Lower Norfair. Should be around approximately the same time that Nintoaster is able to get his gravity suit. Zenny getting the nice bomb jump there to break the bomb blocks, so he is skipping the high jump missiles. Zenny has to do a mock ball here into ice because he does not yet have speed booster. Nintoaster going for the Ocean Fly, but he unfortunately does not manage to shoot the super quickly enough. And Toasty is fighting Crocomire. So Toasty is indeed going to Lower Norfair next. He's killing Crocomire to get power bombs and to get grapple beam. So basically, he can get the power bomb pack here and not have to go to Red Tower for them. And grapple will help with farming in Lower Norfair. Nintoaster is entering the Fantoon fight. Yes, and I see the Croxy in chat. Yeah, Toasty also picking up the Croc E-Tank. He's going to want the extra E-Tank because he's going to have to do a lava dive here in a bit. Nintoaster going for X-Factor strats on Fantoon. Unfortunately, one of the X-Factor particles missed, so he had to wait it out, and unfortunately that X-Factor particle hit a flame and he was unable to hit Fantoon there. Tipwo also going for X-Factor strats, but lands all 4 particles on the first X-Factor. And Nintoaster finishing off Fantoon with a super missile. So Fantoon down for Nintoaster. As Zenny has picked up his speed booster. Diplo, yeah, I guess didn't land the full X Factor on his second round, so has to go through a third round of Fantoon, but takes down Fantoon. Toasty has picked up his power bombs and is going to go down to get grapple. And Zenny picking up the wave missiles here, which is interesting because he was full on missiles when he did that. I don't know if that is a safety that Zenny normally takes here. I know that the top runners will almost always skip the wave missiles, although it wastes or skipping them takes about a second, but saves a 7.5 second fanfare. So Zenny is going through the remembered highway towards Lower Norfair because this is slightly faster than going the other way back through Bubble Mountain. And since he has gravity suit, the lava doesn't hurt him or slow him down. So this is a very efficient way to get to Lower Norfair. Diplo getting the Attic Spark beautifully. And Toaster getting the Bowling Spark. And Zenny getting the Lava Spark, which is a fairly difficult trick. It requires a stutter short charge. So a lot of impressive sparks all happening at once. So as I said, we have approximate sync of Zenny getting his Zenny getting into Lower Norfair, and Nintoaster is about to pick up his gravity suit. So Zenny is a little bit ahead, but new route done optimally saves about 100 seconds over old route. Unfortunately, Zenny did not quite get the wall jumps up worse from in the game, and his health is looking very sketchy here. I don't think he can take a hit from anything at the moment. And Zenny takes a death. And with that, unfortunately, Shiny Zenny has forfeited from the race. So Toasty, meanwhile, has gotten into Lower Norfair and is picking up his screw attack. And also takes advantage of the refill. So having screw attack makes Lower Norfair practically a joke because you can just spin jump through pretty much every enemy. So Nintoaster has made it into Meridia and is going to be heading up to Botwoon. Nintoaster also getting the really nice jump up fish tank to get up the room really quickly, and now sparks up Mount Everest. Toasty successfully getting up Warstrom in the game, taking advantage of that screw attack. And is going to have to go through Amphitheater the slow way because he does not have space jump. But makes it up. Tipwo is now into Meridia, and in Toaster is in his Batoon fight, gets a successful misses one of the X Factor particles on Batoon. I got a little debated there. X Factor strats do a lot of damage because if you land all 4 particles, they do 1200. But if you miss one of those particles, it disables your beam until that particle hits something or times out. So it can be somewhat risky of a strat to go for if you are not very good at it. I think that Nintoaster's definitely very competent with them, just has been getting a little bit unlucky with them in this race, unfortunately. Tipwo landing all 4 X Factor particles, but he has to be really careful. He's at 13 health. He cannot get hit by anything at this point. Toasty is sparking through the... Oh, and Tipwo takes a death to Batoon. Yeah. So Toasty had sparked onto the Mel Pirates. So I do not see a forfeit from Tipwo, so I'm going to assume that, well, so he is still in this race, but he has been set back all the way to the start. Nintoaster's entering his Dragon fight. And I want to just emphasize that, I mean, Super Metroid is a brutal, brutal game. And this kind of thing is not entirely unexpected. Like, Super Metroid is a game that that will punish you really hard for even slight mistakes. So just like huge props to all these runners for just having the level of skill that they do with this game. So interestingly, Toasty never picked up Spazer, so he is basically using ice wave shots to hit Ridley here. So the fight is going to take a little bit longer. I didn't catch if he opened the fight with X Factors, which would speed it up a little bit, although judging from his power bomb count, he did not. Toaster done with his Dragon fight, picks up his space jump, and he got the blue suit from sparking into Dragon. Did not go for the spike suit, so he is basically unable to use his dash button until he wants to use that spark. And unfortunately, doesn't have enough health to make it all the way across the room, and is now going to have to be a little careful not to take a hit from that mock droid, and even also is going to have to be very careful in Kakatak Alley, because those spikes, I want to say, okay, they do 15 damage. He cannot take another hit, but he gets health bombed from these Kakataks. Normally, these Kakataks have a very high chance of dropping super missiles, but because of his low health, he was in health bomb range. Toasty finishes with his Ridley fight, picks up the Ridley E-Tank. So, with Toasty's route, in terms of just like sheer pathing through the game, it is probably the most efficient route to take. However, based on what items he has access to and the fact that he has to take the extra step of killing Crocomire to get power bombs, that does ultimately make the route slightly slower than doing the normal old route or new route, but it's still a valid any percent route. And interesting that Toasty is choosing to pick up the power bombs of shame. I don't. Maybe he is looking to be able to pick up enough power bombs for Crystal Flash ammo, although I can't imagine a situation in which he would want a Crystal Flash unless he's doing some Crystal Flash shenanigans with Dragon. Oh, right. He does need Crystal Flash ammo because he's going to be going through Meridia suitless, and he needs to get a. He's going to be doing a Crystal Flash to in his Dragon fight, which I'll talk about when he gets to that point. And Toaster is out of Meridia, is going to be heading back down into Norfair to take on Ridley. So, yeah, that also explains why Toasty has been picking up extra missile packs along the way, so that he can guarantee he has the ammo for that Crystal Flash. Toasty is going to be picking up this power bomb pack in the Lower Norfair jail, and that will bring him up to 15 power bombs, which will give him the ability to Crystal Flash. And then Toaster is going to be picking up his Ice Beam now. This will complete his beam combo of Charge, Ice Wave, and Plasma. And Toasty is making it through the Three Musketeers, which is trivialized by Screw Attack. And in Toaster getting the Ice Escape Mock Ball, and with a very interesting setup that I have never seen before, but normally I've seen people freeze those platforms from above, but he did it from the left standing in the lava. Which is a strat that makes sense when you have Gravity Suit and are not worried about taking damage from the lava. And chat with a good point. But yeah, I guess unfortunately, according to the what I see here, none of the runners currently, or none of the other runners who are further ahead have usable audio for me to switch to. So Toasty is going to be breaking the tube into Meridia. He has to set this up at a specific position so that he can jump through the door up above, and then basically land on top of this Skullterra there to be able to make these jumps up to these upper platforms. From there, he's going to be climbing these platforms up until he gets to this crab here that he is currently freezing. He's going to need to freeze that Skulltera up there. And now he's going to have to make a tricky jump onto that Skulltera, which he gets first try, which is really impressive. It's a very difficult jump. Having attempted it numerous times myself. And is now going to use his grapple beam to kill the remaining crabs in the room. And now is going to be crossing Everest. So one thing that's nice about the properties of Suitless Meridia is that it's a lot easier to aim your grapple beam because of how you are slowed down in water. And now we'll see how Toasty chooses to climb this next room. And Toaster getting nice Shine Spark strats on those metal pirates. Just going to run through the acid here. So Toasty is going to be going for the snail climb. So basically by jumping and switching his direction, he's able to manipulate this snail to climb up and keep on top of it, and that's how he's able to climb to the top of this room. And now he's going to have to do an ice clip in this next room. So he is going to, in the next section of this room, as Nintoaster is fighting Ridley, he is going to lure this Metroid over, crouch and aim up and freeze it, and then he's going to get on top of it, which is going to allow him to clip through the crumble blocks there, which are the way you're intended to come back through that room. And now he is in his Batoon fight. Unfortunately, misses the first couple of supers, so he's going to have a little bit of a difficult fight. And he's going to have to rely on his beam combo. But, I mean, I shouldn't say difficult as much as just slow. But he does manage to still take down Batoon, not taking very much damage at all. We'll see if Toasty chooses to take the Batoon E-Tank. And he does. So we're going to see some interesting strats coming out of him to get to Dragon and to set himself up so that he can get himself out of Dragon. And Toaster is finished with his Ridley fight, gets past the what people have been recently calling the three amigos of the three key hunters in the key hunter shaft, and is making his way out of Lower Norfair, using some nice pseudo screws to not take damage from the boulders or the Namahe flames there. Toasty is freezing these Metroids so that he can grapple on to the grapple blocks that are above the water level, which allows him to now just be able to jump freely. He has to be very careful here not to land in the sand, because if he lands in the sand, it is going to be difficult to impossible for him to get out of it. So it was a tense moment there, but he looks to be through this, and he is now intentionally taking damage from this Metroid. So he's going to try to get himself down to a certain amount of damage, And he's going to be saving here because the next part of this is a little bit dangerous. So he's going to be entering Dragon's chamber as normal, damaging himself a bit more on those mock droids. And what we're going to see from Toasty here is as he breaks the turrets, he's going to damage himself down to Crystal Flash range on the bottom right turret. And then he's going to be waiting for Dragon to do a goop phase, and then he is going to do a Crystal Flash, get grabbed in the middle of that Crystal Flash, and that is going to interrupt the Crystal Flash and give him a spike suit. As Nintoaster has exited Norfair, Nintoaster is heading up Meridia, which is the fastest way back to the ship and up to Turian. So we see Toasty getting his Crystal Flash interrupted. He now has a spike suit, or the equivalent of a spike suit. Zenny died in worst room in the game to the gold pirate at the top of worst room in the game. So now Toasty is going to be just going for a grapple kill. Unfortunately, he let go because unfortunately Dragon did a goop pattern from left to right, which is a lot harder to deal with than the left to right pattern. Now it looks like he has the right to left pattern. That's a lot easier to deal with. He doesn't get the immediate grapple kill, but now he just has to wait for Dragon to ascend the room, and eventually Dragon should come close enough to one of those turrets for Toasty to latch onto it, which will enable him to do the grapple kill. So Nintoaster is in the G4 cutscene. Toasty is going to pick up Space Jump, which is going to make the remainder of his Meridia a little bit smoother. And so what we are going to see Toasty do here is a grapple jump off of here. He's going to basically do a series of morphs here that allow him to ascend the room. And now he's going to just spark straight up. And that allows him to escape Dragon's room. And now he's just going to space jump across Coliseum. With Screw Attack, he's able to take care of the mock droids in his way. And he successfully makes it through without dropping the space jump input, which is unfortunately sometimes easy to do. And now Toasty making his way through Cack Attack Alley. Looking to farm a little bit of health off of these Cack Attack. Nintoaster in the Metroid rooms groups the Metroids in Metroid Room 4. And meanwhile, one of our background runners, Sloters, has finished the race in first place with a time of 44:06. So GG to Sloters. Tipwo taking a decent amount of damage from Fantoon, but manages to survive the fight and crucially manages to stay out of health bomb range. Nintoaster with a successful Zeb skip, and Toasty has picked up his plasma beam and will now be taking the Forgotten Highway into wrecked ship. And Toaster through Mother Brain 1 is now in his Mother Brain 2 fight with the full beam combo. This is 20 shots. It's a fairly trivial fight, although Mother Brain can sometimes be really trolly and really aggressive. So yeah, shooting multiple onion rings there, but already on catch-up phase. Only 4 more shots after that. Mother Brain is down, or at least Mother Brain 2 is down. So Nintoaster is now just has to wait for the rainbow beam and will be in the cutscene. Toasty making his way into Forgotten Highway. So we'll be making his way through this part of the game that we don't get to see a whole lot. See it in RBO. You see it in map completion. And we see it with this particular any percent route. So we see that Tipwo has gotten his gravity suit, and Nintoaster is about to enter Mother Brain 3. So this last section of Forgotten Highway is a little bit tricky, but without gravity suit, but Toasty makes it through. Goes into the powered off wrecked ship through rooms that you normally are not supposed to be able to get through. You'll notice that these spikes in Spiky Room of Death are not active. So it's the Dull Room of Life. I know Cheese Reaver calls it the Pointy Room of Life, but in this case, they're not even really pointy. They're fake. As Sloters is raiding Toasty, who forgot to turn off his alert. And Nintoaster is in the escape. Gets a spark here. Gets to jump into Leodoc's room. And wall jumps up the left-hand side. Wall jumps and manages to get through without having to kill any of those pirates there. And now we'll be looking to do the spark up the climb. We'll see what type of spark he decides to go with. Just goes with a standard right side spark. Toasty and his Fantoon fight. This will be fairly trivialized by his beam combo, and Fantoon is already down. And Nintoaster has finished in second place overall, in first place in first place on the restream with an official SRL time of 50 minutes 16 seconds. GG to Nintoaster. So Toasty, meanwhile, making his way out of the wrecked ship, and having killed his last boss, is going to be making his way into Turian. Tipwo re-kills Batoon. Or I think actually kills Batoon for the first time, because he died to Batoon on his previous attempt. So interesting, Toasty choosing to go through the gauntlet here. I think he's looking to pick up his last E-Tank to be able to do stand-up. So Tipwo is in his Dragon. Using Shine Spark strats, as Toasty makes it to G4 with 7 E-Tanks. So if he does not take too much damage in the Mother Brain fight, he will have the option of doing stand-up. So looks like we should be getting Nintoaster in for an interview shortly. And hello, Nintoaster. GG.
Hey, how's it going? Thanks.
Yeah. So yeah, immediate thoughts on that race.
It was a little smaller turnout than we're used to. We think we had like 9 racers or something, but it was I mean Sloters and then everybody else pretty much. So
Yeah.
But it was still a good race. I mean, my run wasn't the greatest, a lot of mistakes, but that's how it goes.
Yeah. Yeah, because I know I've like been had my focus kind of split everywhere, because for a while I was like, looking at Zenny was doing new route, and Toasty is doing his route variation. But yeah,
was there Dragon first?
What he did Ridley second. So
Okay.
he like went down to Crockmire, grabbed like the power bombs there, and then went right into Lower Norfair.
What happened to Zenny?
Zenny unfortunately took a was low health entering Worstrom in the game, and he missed the last jump and jumped right into the gold pirate at the top of Worstrom in the game and
Okay.
died.
Yeah, that's too bad. Happens to the best of us.
Yeah, and then Tipwo he took a unfortunate hit in his Batoon fight and
Ouch.
died there. Just he decided to just restart, so he's still technically in the race.
Oh, what a trooper. Still pulling it out.
Yeah,
Um,
co-jacting a couple of
how brutal.
supers there. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, usually, well, typically every week we have at least, well, if it's on average, maybe half the people die. The other half barely survive, and some of us actually get a good time, but not too often.
Yeah, it's one of those things. It's just like Super Metroid is a brutal game. And like you can be like one of the best players, and like every so often you'll just like one of the bosses will troll you, do something you don't expect, or you'll just make some really dumb mistake that costs you either just a lot of time or you just die and lose all your progress.
Yeah. Well, I've been grabbing a safety E tank. I'm grabbing the scrub tank after Cray, just because I mean I'd rather finish a run than kind of go all
Yeah,
out. I
because
mean,
yeah, I did notice that.
it's a good thing I did too, because I was pretty low health at some points in there, and having the fourth tank gives you a little bit of a buffer to finish the race out. Because I mean, I'd rather just complete the race than
Yeah,
take the chance that, because I mean I'm not I have done 3 tank runs, but it's a little bit tighter on health. So
yeah, definitely understandable to take some safeties during races. Uh, Toasty memeing around a little bit before his mother brain fight.
brother toast.
Yeah. Was there anything else like about your run in particular, like that stand out or whatever?
Not really. I mean, it's pretty average for a Friday race for me. I mean, last week I did better. I got like a 48, which was a race PB for me. So last week was much better than this week. But like I said, that's
Yeah.
the way she goes. You only get one shot at it. So what you get is what you get.
Oh, looks like Toasty took a death to Mother Brain there. Uh,
Yeah, that's too bad. I
but
feel
he
for you,
did
Toasty. I
save.
feel for you.
Yeah, he did save before Mother Brain, so
Oh, that's good.
yeah, he'll be able to just resume from that save. Uh,
All right, buddy. Well, I'm gonna hop off. I'll let you continue your commentary, and thanks for having me on.
okay. Yep. Thanks for racing, GG,
Have a good night.
and yep. So Toasty is going get to Zeb Skip again, going to take down Mother Brain 1 again, and now is going to start his Mother Brain 2 fight. And yeah, last time he was just kidding. This time he actually means it. Tipple, meanwhile, through Amphitheater, making his way upwards from in the game, using one of those pirates as a platform to get up to the upper part. Uh, kills the top gold pirate instead of doing the midair morph around it, and does the space jump up amphitheater and makes it through very cleanly. And Toasty, having turned off his Varia suit, is setting up for stand up, space jumping in the air to make sure that he doesn't get crouch locked. And meanwhile, Tipwo doing a nice lag reduction strat by using a bomb spread. Uh, Although that also was likely because he had literally ran out of, or he was one power bomb short. So he would have run out of power bombs and needed to take the power bombs of shame had he used a power bomb there. So definitely very good resource management on Tipwo's part to realize that and avoid having to take the power bomb pack that you don't want to take in any percent. Also does really nice manip on those metal pirates and is entering his Ridley fight with 290 health. Toasty executing his stand up nicely, looks to have hit pretty much every one of the shots there. Has about 7 more shots here that he can do. Perfectly executed before he needs to stop shooting to let the rainbow beam kick in, and unfortunately he had his beam charged during that cutscene, but is able to just hold his item cancel button to unlag the game there. And yes, shout outs to John, who I believe did that in a randomizer league race, and it was either a randomizer league race or like the multi-category tournament or something where he had that particular lock, and then since then we have figured out the strat for holding item cancel to get out of it. And at this point, I may even just call that just Toasty doing more memeing. Toasty making it up the Leodox room with no issues. Moon falling down the second part of the Leodox room and is going to set up for his spark up the climb. Does the reverse Behemoth spark up the left wall and is going to slowly climb his way up Parlor. I shouldn't say slowly, very quickly climbing his way up Parlor and heading to the ship. Going to meme around a bit more as Tipwo is making his way out of Lower Norfair, having defeated Ridley, with a fairly dangerously low health. Toasty memeing it up a little bit more. I think he wants to get blue echoes landing into the ship, but enters the ship and finishes in 6th place overall, in the 2nd place of the people on the restream, with an official SRL time of 1 hour, 4 minutes, 11 seconds. GG Toasty, and welcome in GG Toasty.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And let me just say, good game to Sloters and Toaster, Crank, Ninja Josh, Sir Lewis X. That was a good race.
Yep, all those other people being background runners who have finished also.
Yeah, no,
S-
sorry to just want to say it was cool that Typo and Shiny Zenny hopped back in after those deaths. Tough.
Yeah, actually, I did see a dot forfeit from Zenny in the SRL. I don't know if he dot undone. Uh,
Mm, yeah.
yeah, or maybe he will if like this run finishes for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, props for like just getting sent all the way back to the beginning and then just like say just continuing from there to Tiplo, and if Zenny to decides that he's going to dot undone and dot and finish this. So, thoughts on how your run went?
Yeah, it was not too bad. I kind of forgot a couple small things. Uh Spazer, I forgot.
Yeah, I was wondering about that one because I saw it in the Ridley fight. I'm like, yeah, he doesn't have Spazer, so this is going to make this fight take a lot longer.
Yeah, I
I
was
was
like,
wondering.
it would be interesting to see. Yeah, because like I think the time it takes like 25 seconds to get it or something like that. And it's I think it saves more than that on the fight because you have to shoot Ridley so many dang times.
Yeah, I think like technically you can save time on it if you do like 5 X Factor opening on Ridley, but that's asking a lot.
Yeah,
Yeah, because I don't think yeah, I didn't see the beginning of your fight, but like judging from your power bomb count, I don't think you did any X Factors, or maybe you just did the opening.
yeah. I did one X Factor in the opening, so
Okay,
that's
yeah,
all I know how to do. I don't know how to do the other ones. But yeah, it's a tough fight. Um, so I think it's worth getting Spazer. Yeah, it just makes it faster. Maybe if you do like the 4 X factors, right? It's actually faster to skip or something like that.
yeah,
Who knows?
yeah.
Kind of fun. I enjoy the suitless bits with especially the grappling in suitless is real fun. Nice and slow.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I don't know, like I know I personally still find that the first room of Suitless Meridia a bit tricky, but like after that is but yeah, there's a lot of cool strats in Suitless Meridia. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, thank you so much for commentating, Link. Yeah, I kind of had the
Yeah.
restream on, so I really enjoyed watching the others progress. And yeah, I damaged myself down um, too much on Mother Brain. It was a little kind of a clumsy,
Yeah.
toasty way to die. But anyway, oh, also good game to Zenny.
Oh yeah. Okay, so yeah, in fact, Zenny did unforfeit, so yep, so he has finished. So yeah, GG to Zenny. And we have Tipwo. I I'm thinking that's how his name's pronounced. I've probably been butchering the pronunciation this entire time. Uh, but yeah, he is now in Metroid Room 3. Yeah, grouping the Metroids for Metroid Room 4. And through the Metroid rooms with full ammo, which is always what you want to see.
Yeah,
Sometimes those Metroids like to troll you and not give you the drops you want.
yeah, All right, well, I'm gonna hop off. Been a long week. Thanks again, Link, and thanks
Yep.
everybody else for the race.
Yep. GG Toasty on the race. Thanks for racing.
Yeah, thank you. Take care. Good one.
So Tiplo is gets his baby skip. And unfortunately, doesn't quite get the eye door on the first attempt, but gets on the second attempt, taking a little. Actually, not really taking any damage there. Just was unsuccessful in getting it. Gets the ice sub skip on the first attempt. And getting through his Mother Brain 1. Controlled a little bit by the Rinkas at the tail end. And now it is 20 shots for Tiplo. Mother Brain not being terribly aggressive so far, which is the RNG that you like to see if you're the runner. Maybe less entertaining for the viewers, but already in the catch-up phase, should be just 4 more shots. Has to just dodge that catch-up, and already at the appropriate health value for Rainbow Beam, so just waiting for that Rainbow Beam shot. So now Diplo just in the cutscene. Yeah. So again, like huge GGs to all the runners, not just the four foreground runners, but also all of the background runners. And it's always nice to see a decent turnout for these races. I know we've had some that have had a significantly larger turnout, but we definitely like to see a lot of people in these races. If you ever are thinking like maybe you should give it a shot, you should definitely give these races a shot. Like you just need to be able to mock ball uh and that's pretty much it for like strats that you absolutely have to be able to do to run this game with a okay time. Tiplo not shooting Mother Rain 3. Unfortunately, Tiplo appears to have forfeited from the race. I didn't quite. Yeah. I guess he had something come up mid-run. So that is unfortunate because he was like really close to finishing. And it's really unfortunate that kind of happened like at the very tail end of his run. But again, GG to all the runners, and especially GG to Zenny and Tiplo. They did a to die there where they did, have to start over, and managing to fully pull, well, in Zenny's case, fully pull a run together, and in Tippo's case, just having just almost getting a full run in there, and still finishing with a pretty reasonable time. Like, huge shout outs to them for that. But yeah, with that, going, I believe that concludes the race. So yeah, I think I basically said everything. So with that, can't do my usual rando outro because it's not really applicable here, but just may you not take a triple catch-up hit from Mother Brain, and see you next mission.